It's working. I think so. Okay, we're on page 31 of the new HTML book. And we have Sublime open. You can use Sublime Text 2 or 3. The first thing you want to do is save the Sublime text editor because you want to make sure that your colors show up. So, what are we saving this as? You may have to skip a page or two to figure out what they saved this as. Index.html. And I'm going to save it to my desktop, but you may want to save it to your thumb drive, because if you save it to the desktop, it's going to delete after you turn it off. So all I did was I opened up my Sublime. Everybody should have Sublime open, and we're all on page 31 of the textbook. And what I did was, and you can find Sublime in your programs. And the first thing you want to do is save it so that your colors show up. And I'm going to save it to my desktop, but save it to your thumb drive. And I'm going to type index.html because I skipped over to page 33 where it tells you what to save it as. And we're ultimately going to be saving it as index. So file save as index.html to your thumb drive. If you want to create a different folder on your thumb drive and call it maybe practice or call it chapter 1, and inside your chapter 1 folder call it practice or bookwork, something to remind you of what you're working on. It's not a graded assignment, but you do need to do the bookwork, and we'll try to do it together in class. What I like to do for the layout is I like to make it the code on the left side or even on the right side. Let it split the screen, let it take up half of your screen, and then if you right click on your Sublime, you can open in browser, and that'll open up your preview of what you're working on. So you can see it as you're working. You don't want to do the whole code and then see it because you want to fix the mistakes you make along the way, and you want to see how it's looking as you go. Okay, so it says on line 1. So we're on line 1. We're actually going to go ahead and type our declaration. And as you start typing, just notice how they do it in the book. And try to pay very close attention to detail. Is mine going to be in color? I hope so. So far, okay, yeah. And remember what values are, what attributes are. And notice how as you keep entering, it keeps going to a different line. So that way you know where everybody's at. You can say, are you on line 2? If I'm going too fast, I apologize. I can slow down. But we're just doing number 1 on page 31. And they give you cool little notes in the book. They tell you what you're typing. And Sublime does a really good job at structuring. So notice, like in the book, it might tell you to indent, but Sublime already does that for you. So on line 4, it already indents because it notices that you put a head on there. So it knows that the next line needs to be indented. So that's why I like using Sublime.
Mine didn't do that.
It doesn't do that?
No,
Huh.
Before, it's not doing it now.
That's weird.
I've never had that problem with Adam.
Remember to close. Also, you have to make sure you're closing your tags. That's probably why it's not doing it. If not, then just indent by pressing the tab button. You can just indent. Mm-hmm. Yep, tab should indent.
See them all.
Bye. Have a good day, guys.
Now.
Oh, yeah, and you move from one line to the other by pressing enter. And then it tells you at the bottom, the Q&A, question and answer, should I indent any lines of code? Yes, indent lines 4 and 5 by pressing the tab key. Press the Shift Tab keys to return to the insertion point to the left margin. Okay, so yeah, so we just indent it. And then it tells me to add title. And notice that we haven't added the title to the web page yet, but where is it gonna go? Where is the title gonna go? In the head, and then where is it gonna appear on your browser once we put that title in?
In the tab.
In the tab. So we're looking at this window tab right here, and that's where your title is going to show up. So in between here is where your title is going to go. But we haven't come up with a title yet. So we're just gonna go on to the next line. And what is meta tags? What are meta tags mean? Meta tag, what does charge set mean?
Character set.
Character set, right. Meta tags are just hidden tags that that help your browser, your code function. So you don't have to worry about it too much, but it is required that you put it in there. And then when you're done with your head, look, it didn't do it, but you have to go back to your left margin. So Shift Tab is what it told you to do. So if you press Shift Tab, if you press Enter and then Shift Tab, it goes back to your left margin. And this is how you want it to look. Notice that head is in the right spot, and if you double click, it should show you where the opening and the closing tag are. So I'll do that again. Double click on any pair tags, and it'll show you where the closing and the opening tag are at. And that's important because you're gonna have a long code, and then what's gonna happen is you're gonna forget that I closed my div tag and things like that that'll come up later on. So by double clicking, it'll show you where, it'll like outline a little border showing you where it's at. Okay, so I think I moved on to the next page. Oh no, not yet. Sorry, we gotta we gotta open our body. Yep. And then we gotta close our body. And if it's trying to indent, just Shift Tab it and take it back to where it belongs. And just make sure you always close your body and your HTML. Make that a habit. Control Save as you go. So Control S will save it. And right now you're not really gonna see anything appear here because you haven't put a title and you haven't put anything in the body. But if you want to start seeing how it looks, just make sure you click on Open in Browser, right click, Open in Browser, and it's going to show you the web page you were creating. So right click there and Open in Browser. Okay, so now we're on page 32. They explain to you why you need a title and how it appears on the browser tab and how you need to add content to your body. So they're explaining what you're going to be doing. What's the title going to be? My first web page. So let's go ahead and put that in there. Notice how it turns white, the text does, when that's showing what's going to appear here on your browser. So that's a good way to distinguish what the colors are. And sometimes you might not just want to put Save All if you have a lot of tabs going on. We only have one, so we're just going to Control S, and that'll save it. Refresh. You refresh on the browser page to see any updates, and you'll notice what just changed was up here. Once you inserted that title, it changed the index.html to an actual title called My First Web Page. Yeah, so what you do is right here on your code, on your Sublime text editor, right-click, Open in Browser.
Mine doesn't say that. Yeah, ours don't say that.
Really? Right-click, Open in Browser.
I keep doing it.
Oh, because I think you have this open, so you have to bring this guy open. Let's see if it does it.
Why'd you have to open it with mine?
One second.
Not doing it.
Here, watch.
If it's not opening, here's another way to do it. Locate your file where it's at, because it should be doing, but if it's not, then I don't know why. Locate where you put your index.html. So if you have it in a folder, like for example, I have mine in my desktop, and just double click it, and it should open. Perfect. There you are. That's what you're working on. Why is it? Oh, okay. Yeah. So now anytime you do put something, it should though.
Oh,
Hold on, save
hang on.
that.
You have to save it.
Yes.
Save it and then open with Google Chrome.
You saved it, right?
I said it's good. Like, right?
Oh, wait. You're on
I find it
Kingston.
easier to hit Control F
Oops.
and then
I'm gonna put
go
it out
to
here
file
now,
again,
just so I can see.
open with Google Chrome.
You know what
Right
it could be
here, hold it.
too?
Yes.
Mine's 21, oh, that's 140. Seems like we should.
Yeah, make sure you open with Google Chrome, but his is still, oh, there it goes, finally. Okay, there you go. What we're gonna do is bring this here, file, and then bring this here. So anytime you make an
Where do you save that?
update, just save it and then refresh.
There it is.
Never, yeah. Did you get it to work?
Can we bring our own in? Yeah, an extra?
Go to File Explorer.
Yeah. And then also,
No.
in the
search bar.
and then try to
Type
do
in
this.
index.
I don't know, can these all the ones have a second screen?
There you go. So by dragging it to the right, it takes up half the screen. So drag it to the left.
I said it's chapter 1, practice.
Okay.
Can you see? Okay.
Right there, right?
There it is.
I should have paused this. I just have it recording stuff.
Just open it.
Now that you think about it, you say it, I think it's
It's gonna work. USB to the.
So it's important that you guys understand that title refers to this tab. It does not refer to the title of your body. And that is an H1 tag, a heading tag. Title versus heading.
Because these are blue.
That's like the beginning of the chapter.
Can you open it in Internet Explorer?
It is. No, you want it in Google Chrome.
Well, apparently,
I don't have Chrome.
You don't have Chrome?
That's what I'm
on your ship.
Let me pause this. So we are gonna add some content to your body, just so you can see it on your browser. You wanna follow the structure, so they have it indented, and they just have a welcome to my first webpage. Later on, I hope that they make this into a paragraph or a heading tag, because it really shouldn't be floating like this. But they just want you to see it in the browser. So after you save and then refresh, you should just see that text floating on the browser. And I can zoom in to show you guys that. Always make sure to save first, then refresh. Because if you refresh without saving, it won't show any of the new stuff you did. So far, yours should look like this. Save it to your thumb drive. And I believe that is it. Okay. So now, we're going to keep this separate. We're going to open up a new file. And that's going to open up right next to it. And we're going to look at the analyze and correct, because I want to see if you guys know how to do that. If you go to File Open, navigate to the folder where you have all your data files kept for your HTML book, and go to Chapter 1. I believe it's under Data Files. Oh, that's a zip file, so I can't do that. So let me go to my WD, my Chapter 1, Data Files, make sure to unzip it first. Then I'm looking at Analyze, because we want to do this as a class. Typically, I could just drag my Analyze over, but I don't think it's going to let me on this one. Yeah, it's not going to let me. So if you're not able to open it here on Sublime, open it on the browser and just view page source, and then just copy the code. Copy that code into Sublime. See?
I missed that.
Did you guys see how I did that? I opened up the analyze data file, which is an HTML, and I just right-clicked and put view page source, and then I just copy the code and put it into my text editor. And then remember, you gotta save it first in order for the color coding to work. So I'm gonna save it as analyze. Put this all in a practice folder, because none of this is gonna be turned in for grade.
So make a new folder?
Yeah, for your book work and for anything else, just make a new folder, call it practice, and put it under Chapter 1. It does not go on the server. So we're analyzing, so we're looking and we're seeing what, and you guys can participate in this too, see what's wrong with this code. They've given you a broken code and you have to edit it and make it work.
How did you transfer that over?
Okay, the way I transfer it is I open up the data file, I open up the HTML, and then right-click, view page source. That'll give you the code for the web page. Then I went ahead and highlighted everything. Right-click, copy. And then I just open up a new file on Sublime. And that's what opened up this new tab, and then I pasted it in here. And now you can edit it. And when you save it, you can open it in browser and you can see what you've done.
Where'd you get that from?
Where is it?
Data files. It's under your data files. Make sure to unzip it first. So you gotta go to your data files and then unzip it, and then you should be able to see it.
Oh, no.
And if you guys don't, yeah, extract all to your, yep, you might have to extract it to your folder. And it should be in their data, and unzip that one. It's a lot of zip files because there's a lot of files in there. Yeah, keep going in there, go into data. Oh, it's already somewhere? Oh, okay.
Oh, you already have it.
Oh, yeah.
The books, they
Maybe it's in their data. Maybe it's not data.
they're gonna give us favorite pages.
It might be, no? It could be that one? There it is, analyze. You guys don't have to have this, we're just gonna do it as a class. So what's the first thing you see that's wrong here?
The opening tag is not little or closed.
So where do we have to do that?
But the HTML,
After the HTML, we add a closing bracket. So what's this? What's the public W3C? They're trying to trick us. Let's go to analyze, let's see. So when we go to analyze, which is page 41, HTML 41. Oh, they're telling you to save it as practices too. Analyze, correct, and improve. Why did it do that to yours? That's really, is that what it did to yours too, Mark?
What page are you on?
This is analyze on page 41. 41. So they have a messed up code and they want you to fix it. Why did it
Is this,
come out like
does
that?
this need to be turned in or no?
No, this is
Okay.
just a class,
Just a classwork.
a
alright.
class
Save it.
activity. File new. And you copied it and then you pasted it. That's weird. Oh, did you? Okay, then save as. And just save, oh, I guess it already did it anyway. But this is just practice, so you can just save it here. Or you could save it to your own folder, however you want to do it. All right, so what have we figured out that doesn't have to be here, and what can we put? I think they actually do give you the web page, the corrections on page 42. Right? So what they've done is you have to close your tag over here. And remember, with HTML5, it has made it a lot more simple, and you have to lowercase your
Yeah,
HTML.
lowercase, right? Yeah.
Right, exactly. And notice what happens when you highlight it. It shows the rest of the HTMLs and where those are located. You don't need this anymore. That used to be back in HTML4, so you can delete all of this. It's just extra jargon. They want you to enter your name. We haven't learned how to comment, but this is what a comment is where you insert it into your code and nobody sees it from the browser, only you can see it or anybody who looks at your page source. So here's where they want you to enter your name and the date.
Not the problem.
Uh-oh, what happened?
They didn't put the comments in correctly.
Oh,
dashes.
that's the other thing, 2
Dashes
dashes.
on open and 2 dashes on close.
Very good, 2 dashes. That'll, and look what happens if you don't close your comment correctly, it'll think that everything's a comment. So, very good, you have to put, good job Kyle, you have to put 2 dashes for it to be a comment. And see how it gets grayed out? That's how you know it's a comment.
And that's a multi-line comment too.
Uh-huh, yep,
Not a
and
single
then,
line.
yep, so it's almost like a block. And then the current date, and you can just put January 16. And then what's wrong with the language?
Missing a quotation on
Maybe
the,
lowercase.
Capital.
It's missing what else?
it's missing a quotation mark on the end of.
It is, right after EN, it's missing the quotation marks, very good.
And HTML is supposed to be lowercase.
Exactly. And an
I
H,
see one.
you see another one? What's that one?
Of UTF-8.
Oh, yeah, this has got the wrong one. Oh, the quotation marks, okay. Yep. See, this is how you guys start troubleshooting, and you want to start getting into that habit, because that's what they need out in the field. They need people who can troubleshoot code, who can fix it, and start making that a habit, because you want to start actually troubleshooting your own code. You don't always want to call people over. You want to start having that eyesight where you're constantly being able to see what's wrong, what wasn't closed, what you left open, things like that. Yeah, yeah.
Title and forward slash,
Title.
closing bracket.
Oh, yeah, look at the closing. There's no forward slash in the closing.
Also,
And it's
the opening
missing
is capitalized.
an ankle, and the beginning, the starting
And
tag is.
also body, the closing tag is actually capitalized and doesn't have a slash.
All the way at the bottom. Yep. Look, none of these
And
have,
also HTML.
and also HTML. Closing tags need forward slashes. Very good. And as you start saving this, you can see how it looks on the browser. So always save it and then open in browser. And you can start seeing how it looks. And did I not save this right? Let me see, analyze. Oh yeah, okay, it is right.
Am I the only
What
person who
else?
writes the parse at lowercase?
No, this is also something that's wrong. This is in lowercase. See, we're trying to find stuff that's wrong with it.
I don't have anything capitalized unless it's the title.
What else is wrong? You want to look at the structure, so this is supposed to be indented too.
When you move on this one, you don't even want to go back.
The best practices are numbered, but they're not ordered. I don't know if that makes all of it different, or they're just all just on.
Exactly, and look, there's supposed to be break tags, which we haven't gone over, but break tags is what keeps it from all being in one line. It separates it into different lines. So if you look at figure on page 42, there's a break tag right after declare the correct doc type. So right here, you want to put a break tag, and that's just one single tag. You don't have to worry about closing it or opening it or anything like that. You could do it 2 ways. The book just does it this way. We'll keep it that way. And that'll go ahead and save that and refresh it over here. And when you put a break tag, you'll notice that it goes ahead and brings it down one line. There's one also right after best practices. And just save. And then refresh. And you should start seeing everything stacking up. So break tags are what does that. It gives you a line break.
This calls for a lot of break tags.
Mm-hmm, it does. Yeah, I know, I would've, but I don't think they've taught you order list yet.
Unordered list.
Yeah, I don't think they've taught us that, so that's why they're making us use breaks. Yep. Ordered lists are numbers, unordered lists
But they're
are,
already, the numbers are already there, so you'd have 2 numbers. If you
Yeah.
had An ordered list.
yeah, and you would just use
You'd have
LIs.
1, 2.
Exactly. And then, unordered lists are bullets, so that's what the difference is. Just using a bunch of break tags here. And then remember to indent, just to keep your structure clean. So this isn't graded, but this is a really good way of starting to learn how to troubleshoot.
They didn't teach us on the old book, you know.
I know, that's why we got the new book. Yep, they didn't have this in the old book. This is something that's new in the new book. Isn't it fun?
Yeah.
I like it.
That's why they, you know, when I go study early, I couldn't do it.
Oops. Tab that. And is there one after the 10? I think there is, but I don't know why. You don't really need it. Save it and refresh. And it should look like that.
What was that? Because I'm behind this
Right
one.
there.
Yeah, but I'm behind this one.
Yeah, we didn't do this. This is all independent work.
I know.
So remember, guys, you're doing your apply, your extend, your lab 1, your lab 2, all by yourselves. And then you're doing the test at the end of it.
Well, I'm thinking I'm going to search right here, and then I will lost on this one, because you start to